1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I am the other one of your hosts, Honeybee.
Honeybee and I are two best friends making our way through the history of kaiju movies. We started in 1933 with King Kong, and today we are up to 2006 with Gamera the Brave.
Yeah.
This is another reboot of the Gamera series, but it didn't go anywhere after this. And this is the last. So far, it is the last Gamera feature film.
Oh, my heart.
We won't get anything else until the Gamera anime that came out, last year? The year before?
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Pretty
I think it was
recently.
last year.
Let's see here. It is directed by Ryuta Tasaki. Written by Yukari Tasui. Music by Yoko Ueno. 96 minutes. The box office was $2.6 million. It does not say what the budget is, but somewhere here on Wikipedia it said it was a box office failure, which would explain why there wasn't a follow-up one made.
I can't believe it. My heart.
The cast is Ryu Tomioka as Toru Aizawa, Kanji Tsueda as Kosuke Aizawa, Keiho, one name, as Mai Nashio, that's the next door neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Susumu Terajima as Osama Nashio, Shingo Ishikawa as Ishimura, Shogo Narita as Katsuya, Toshinori Sasaki as Toto/Gamera, Mizuho Yoshida as Zedus, the other monster. I'm going to check this girl with the one name. Well, she does have a full name. Kaho Indo, better known mononymously as Kaho. Actress and fashion model.
Oh.
This was her first movie, but not her last. She was just in something this year called Worlds Apart.
Good for her. Hell yeah.
Honeybee, what are your initial thoughts on Gamera the Brave? Japanese
Gamera
title
the Brave.
is Little Hero Gamera.
My initial thoughts on Gamera the Brave are Gamera is for the babies. Just Gamera's for
he's
the
a friend
kids,
to all children.
man. Yes, he is. And my initial thoughts on this movie are, it's like one of those things where it's kind of embarrassing how much I like it a little bit. And it's like, I could understand why, like, maybe some people watching this were like, oh, this is so lame. Like, this isn't a kaiju movie. It's so, but I mean, obviously it's a kaiju movie, but it's just like, okay. I feel like I can't talk shit about a turtle not being, like, scary or fierce or, like, all of these superhero things because I love Mothra. It's like, how are you going to believe that Mothra is a badass and then believe that a turtle can't be scary? You know what I mean? So I feel like I kind of like have this where, I don't know, I just loved it. I loved it so much, kind of on that same level of, oh my gosh, but not on the level of I want my kaijus to feel like mean and scary and angry, even if it's like justified anger. I just prefer my kaiju to be, I don't know, scary. And so because this one isn't, I'm a little bit embarrassed to love it as much as I do, but I love it so much. Yeah, my initial thoughts were Gamera's for the babies. I did not know exactly just how much that sentence meant when I started this movie, and we started with the little Paunchy, and I was like, oh, yep, because Gam's for the babes. But then, holy shit, we'll get into it, but man.
I think I know what you're thinking of.
The Panchitos are aplenty in this movie.
Yes.
The Panchitos and the Panchitas.
Well, I got a summary here from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Wait, what are your initial thoughts? What are your...
I like it. I don't think its ratings are very high, and obviously it was a flop, but I liked it. And there was one part I just absolutely loved.
Oh, I can't wait.
Get to.
I can't wait. I'm so happy. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
We have to talk about how different this reboot is to the last three that we just saw. In terms of, well, pretty much everything. Because here's the thing is I can't decide if I like this one or I like the last three. Like, I don't know which vibe I like more for Gamera.
Okay.
So, okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking about it as we go through this. Because I just can't decide. And I think maybe you will help me decide. Because you are the voice of reason most of the time. And we all know it.
In 1973, a young boy named Kozuke evacuates his home in the picturesque seaside city of Shima-Mei, which is under attack by a trio of bat-like Geos monsters until a benign kaiju resembling a turtle named Gamera intervenes to buy time for the evacuation.
Ooh-wee.
Unable to kill off all the Geos, Gamera sacrifices itself in a self-destruct ability to end the threat of the Geos for good as Kozuke watches from the shores. The tale picks up 33 years later in 2006 with Kozuke as a grown man and widower with his son Toru. Toru has friends, but has...
Wait. We got to talk about the 1973 timeline for a second because... everything looks great. Gamera looks great. The Gaios, they look great. But this Gamera that we see in this 1973, this like original Gamera that self-destructs, is like very what you think of when you think of Gamera in terms of like face structure and just like the scariness. I don't know what other word to use. He's not scary, but like just the fierceness of him being a kaiju. Like he has like the tusks and, you know, kind of the angry eyebrows. Not that he has eyebrows, but like his eyes just kind of have that like that look. He looks like a big scary monster, right? And I think that's important to note before we go to 2006 is that this Gamera looks great, but he's like a, you know, he's what you think of. It introduces that like glowy middle part, like the middle of him that like glows. We kind of see this for the first time.
He has this pattern on his chest or his underbelly, depending on how you're looking at it.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've seen this, but we do see it in like the 1973 timeline, and it's so good. This whole beginning intro is good. Like the pupil, I don't know if it's dilation when it gets smaller. What I'm not sure, but when the pupil, when it like shows his eye, yeah, whatever that, when the pupil like gets his like pupil gets super small, that like little bit there was just chef's kiss. It was so good. Okay, 2006.
Yes, Toro has friends, but has a fear of being left alone because he is plagued by memories of his late mother, and Kozuke having to work so much to support the family. Did they ever explain how she died?
Oh man, yes, but I don't remember. Because I remember thinking, oh, his mom died, and then in the next scene they said how, but I don't remember, and I almost wrote it down too. I was thinking I should write it down.
I don't remember if it was a car crash or if she got sick.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. I really wish I would have written it down.
Toro's fears are intensified when he finds his friend and neighbor Mai has to undergo dangerous heart surgery.
Wait, but he doesn't find that out for like a really long time.
I'm not sure. I kind of thought, I mean, his father knew.
Yeah, but
I thought he knew all along. He didn't know all
I didn't
along?
think so. No, because there's a point like way later in the movie where her parents are talking to her about it, and he like seems shocked, like, "What? Like you're going away?" Like kind of thing.
Well, she is surprised to find that he knows when he discusses it with her, but I wasn't sure how long he knew. So I
Yeah,
don't know
I don't
what
think he
what the
knows at
deal
this
is. I don't know what the deal is with these two. I think she's older than him.
Yes, she's older than him. They're neighbors.
At that age, she could just be taller, but she kind of acts like she's older. But she's very kind to him and like loans him a comic book. And it kind of seems like she maybe even bought it in order to loan it to him. I mean, she was going to read it too, but she's sure to let him know that she has it. She lets him read it first. Anyway, I mean, you know, they're just kids.
Yeah.
They're just kids, but I wasn't sure if there was some, you know, potential future romance going on, or how much older she was, or if it was just a substitute little brother thing. Or,
Yeah, I think it's just like,
what.
oh, we're neighbors.
but they get very emotional a couple of times.
Yeah. Also, before we even are introduced to Mai, our little Ponchi, what is his name, Toru sees some red flashing in the mountain. Like, he sees this before we even get to her, and we kind of see it. We're like, ooh, what is it?
And he and his friends spend a lot of time trying to pull each other's shorts off in the water.
Yeah, classic. You guys out there, you remember when we all used to pants each other? Sick.
When his other friends, Katsuya and Ishimaru, take him out exploring to try to cheer him up, Toru discovers an unusual egg atop a red stone at the same place Gamera
That is not
self-destructed
what
decades
fucking
ago.
happened.
That's jumping ahead.
Yeah.
No, he sees it, the flashing red light, and then later sees it again and decides to swim out there.
Yeah, he swims out there,
Swim
but
all the
it's
way to
like
this little
it's like
island?
some sort of like field trip that these kids are going on, and Toru forgot his pass, so he couldn't go. So he was like, shit, what am I gonna do? And then he looks over and he sees this like red flashing in the mountain. And before this too, on the TV we get this like a little bit about the Giant Monster Council and like the self-defense force, which I'm sure whatever they said becomes like important later on, because we actually do get these guys. And also before the TV we get like this little moment where like Toru is kind of narrating the story, and I was like, wait, what is he narrating? Which I honestly loved. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. But yeah, he sees that red flash and then he just swims over there.
I think partly the news story is establishing that there haven't been any kaiju attacks in a long time, so they're going to disband the special kaiju, task force or council or whatever it is.
Giant Monster Council.
And just let the self-defense force worry about it. Anyway, he discovers this unusual egg atop a red stone in the same place Gamera self-destructed decades ago. The egg hatches into a small tortoise Toro nicknames Toto,
Which,
after what his mother used to call him.
yes, and we see that in a flashback that he has at the restaurant. We see her calling him Toto, so we do know that when he does call baby Gams, I'm screaming.
He seems to be, I mean, he's having memories, but they're so intense that they seem almost like hallucinations, because he seems surprised when he turns back and she's not there. But, it's a movie. They do that shit in movies.
Yeah, I think he did such a great job. This like little kid who did this part, I think he did amazing. I thought he did a great job. There are a lot of moments where him and his dad have to like scream at each other and kind of like look eye to eye, like face to face. And sometimes that's hard, but that's really hard when you're a kid. And I remember this particular time I was in this show and we had to freeze. Me and this guy had to freeze, and we had to just like stare at each other for so long. For whatever reason, it was like Sleeping Beauty, and we were like frozen, and we could not look at each other because we would just bust out laughing. We just could not do it because you just had to do it for so long, so we had to like find something, and like it's just a hard thing to do for a kid. I feel like I think he did a really great job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did. Now, it's not mentioning it here, but he is keeping it secret that he even has this turtle.
Yeah, he's not allowed to have it because of the restaurant.
At one point, he tries to take it back at one point, and it just starts following him back home.
It's so
And
good.
almost gets hit by a truck. So he.
Well, what's crazy about that?
Toto begins.
Hold on. The reason why he tries to get rid of him is because he starts flying, which I was shocked that he starts flying. And Mai is like, you gotta, like, what are you gonna, you gotta get rid of him. And he's like, yeah. And so then he tries to get rid of him. I don't understand why Gammies didn't fly after him. He just, like, slow turtle walks all the way to him. Like, don't
Maybe it takes a lot of energy.
I guess so.
Maybe.
I did love when he, like, picks him up. He just, like, boops him on the nose and then puts him on his head, like, wears him as a hat. Like, all right, well, now we're stuck together.
Toto begins to display remarkable abilities such as high intelligence, levitation, and breathing small bursts of fire while growing at a rapid rate. The turtle quickly outgrows the house and is relocated by Toro and his friends to maintain secrecy. Yeah, when he starts flying, there's a funny bit where Maya is looking at their windows overlook each other, across a little gap of the two houses. And he's talking to his dad's trying to clean his room and he's afraid he's going to find the turtle. And then the turtle starts levitating and the girl sees it from her window. She gets really scared of it. And I think she is the one who first says it might be Gamera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is. And she brings papers to prove it. She's like, I did some studying at the library and I printed these photos and you have Gamera. I was like, damn. But
yes.
But the this skate park kitchen sequence after, like, the dad's like, I'm gonna clean your room, and, like, he's scared that his dad's gonna find Gamera. There's this, like, skate park kitchen back and forth, and it's the first time we see Gamera blow, like, a little fireball. He's bigger, but he's still, like, the size of a regular turtle, and it was so good. It's just so cute, just Gamera, like, walking around that kitchen, and the dad has no idea, and he's cooking. And then we'd go, like, back to the skate park, and, like, the kids would be, like, skating in the bowl, and then, like, Gamera, like, flies out of this, like, pot, like, or, like, this pan, like, kind of, like, as if he's, like, skating in a bowl. And it was just so cute. I really love this sequence, the going back and forth and flying baby Gamera. It's just one of my most favorite things in the whole world.
Oh, there's also this part about Mai's parents are jewelers, I guess. And there's these red pearls that were left behind that seem related to the red stone. When Gamera exploded, there was these red pearls left behind that are similar but smaller than the red stone that Toro has. And he's got one left. Apparently he's been selling them slowly over the years. He's got one left, and he's going to turn it into a bracelet or a necklace or something for his daughter as a lucky charm.
Yeah, it's sad, though, because it ends up looking like a ball sack. And then when he gives it to her, he's just like, here, take this ball sack bracelet for good luck. And I was like, ew, it looks horrible.
Oh. So you don't want me to find your replica of that? Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I'm saying. But also, before that, though, what is this? There was, like, a part I didn't quite understand. I'm, like, not sure if I missed something or what. I guess. Oh, okay. I know what it is. I'm like, reading my notes, and okay, so it was, like, the beat-up guy in the ocean. But that's, like, when, I guess, Zadis is, like, just picking people off.
Oh, there's some shit. Yeah, some ships are missing. And the news keeps talking about there's missing ships, and we see a survivor of the wrecked ship floating in the ocean, and then something grabs him from underneath and chomps him under the water. Blood flows up.
Yeah.
So this is the kaiju that's coming. They did not go into much detail about, what and why with the kaiju. There is one. There hasn't been any for years, and then there just is one. And fortunately, Gamera's been
hatched
in anticipation. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew it was coming.
I guess
this
so.
is unclear.
It is unclear. I do love when they transfer Gamera. They put him on the skateboard because he's, like, so big. They skateboard him to their clubhouse.
So they take him and they hide him, and then Toro gives Mai the red stone he found Toto's egg on as a good luck charm for her heart surgery. However, after a storm, Toro finds Toto has left his hideaway and gone missing. Concurrently, many shipping disasters occur in the area. Here we go. The cause of which is the kaiju Zeus. Did anyone say that name at any point in the movie? I
yeah.
don't remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
A monstrous man-eating reptile, which soon thereafter rampages through the city. It corners Toru, Kozuke, and Toru's friends, but the boy's former pet, now significantly larger, intercedes. Yeah, it's storming through the city, and everybody's running and screaming, and his friend's parents never seem to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them falls, and they try to go back, and then they get separated by some rubble, and the father's trying to save him. And the monster's just about to chomp them when Gamera comes and side tackles him.
Yeah.
From out of nowhere.
I love that they made Zeus's teeth kind of like see-through so that when he like chomps people and he like comes back up, they're like bloody and we can see that. It was super cool because his teeth kind of look like they were made by like glue sticks where it's like not see-through but it's like kind of foggy. You know what I mean? So
I didn't notice
I
that.
loved that because we could really see when he was like when his mouth was super bloody. And Gamera is so fucking cute. And this is the point I was making in the beginning is like Gamera never gets scary or like he just always stays fucking cute. Like this whole movie, it's the eyes.
They gave him very big sweet eyes.
Oh my
That
gosh.
even when he starts getting tusks, he still has the big sweet eyes.
It's just so
The turtle is now
good.
clearly a young Gamera. Toto is wounded in the fight and captured by government officials. Privy to Gamera being benevolent creatures and knowing Zeus would return, the government has scientists who studied the previous Gamera work to help heal the wounded Toto. Keeping him in a warehouse, they bandage the unconscious young kaiju and hook the creature up to a machine, which infuses it with liquid derived from mysterious red stones found in the vicinity of the past Gamera's self-destruction. Did I fall asleep? I think I missed this part.
Oh no! Yeah, I guess you must have.
I might
Yeah.
have dozed off.
Baby Gamera
I
has a
watched
big
it
owie.
in parts. I watched part of it at work during lunch, and then I watched some when I got home, and I may have dozed off.
Yeah, because Zeus like tongue spikes back. Like Gamera grabs his tongue spike and then like fireballs him in the face, and then the government officials like carry him off on like a trailer, like a truck trailer, and he's like knocked out. And they like tie him up
Right.
in the warehouse. You don't remember any of that?
Yeah, no. And I've seen this movie before. Anyway, they theorize that these stones give Gamera their power. Mai's surgery is successful, and her mother calls Kazuke and Toro to give the good news, but she also states Mai keeps muttering in her sleep that Toto needs the glowing stone.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. There's this.
Zeus attacks again.
There's this part where our Panchito is like running around and he's like looking. He's like sad. You know, the whole like they took Gamera and all this stuff, and he says this line, and he's like, "Did my mother worry about me like this?" And I was like, oh my God,
Aww.
my heart. Oh, it really hit me. It really hit me in the face. Oh gosh, like oh man, that part. That it was like right around like when the three boys are like marching along the train track in slow motion. It's very like Stand By Me vibes, where they're all like the kids like brotherhood, like we're doing this together. Obviously it's different, but and then he was like, "Did my mother worry about me like this?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this movie, I can't. It's so good for all the wrong reasons."
Zeus attacks again, and the now near fully grown Toto, now larger, goes out to battle him to save fleeing citizens. Toro and his friends determine that the still immature Gamera must consume the red stone which Toro had found with the egg, a much larger and more concentrated form of the red beads the scientists had used, in order to gain its full power. Kazuke, having seen the damage a kaiju brawl can have firsthand and not wanting to lose his son as he did his wife,
Smacks the
initially
living
opposes
piss
their
out of
efforts
him.
to get close to Toto. Yeah. But comes around to help them after ensuring Katsuya and Ishimura get off to safety. Well, not quite. Mai tries to reach them or Toto to deliver the red stone, but her post-surgery weakness inhibits her. This is the part I loved. I totally remembered this part from when I saw it before. The red stone, however, seems to connect to various children who come to Mai's aid and relay the stone across the city to Toru and his friends. These kids all seem to have some kind of, I don't know what, psychic connection to Gamera or to the stone or something.
It's the kids. They
And
just
they just
know.
understand instinctually.
Yes.
Yeah, they instinctually know that they need to get this stone. And one little cutie after another just takes it and runs as far as they can. And when they can't get any further, they pass it off to someone else without a word of explanation.
It's a paunchy bucket line.
The other kid knows what they need to do.
Me and Gus watched.
I love this part.
It's so good. It's so good. Me and Gus were watching it, and when the first handoff happens, we were both like, "What?" Wait, what? Because she just Mai is kind of freaking out, and she's screaming. She's like, "I've got it! Let me go, and they're restraining her.
She's on a gurney.
Yeah, and they're putting restraints on her.
She's still recovering, and she's on a gurney.
And this little girl,
but she's not in her room. She's in some kind of
because they've evacuated.
Everybody's I guess shelter.
Yeah, they had to evacuate,
they're
so they're out of
somewhere.
shelter. Yeah, and of course they're sheltering in a building that's all windows so that we can see the kaiju fight. But anyways,
Right.
But yeah, this little girl, she looks like maybe 3. I mean, she's just so young, 4. It reminded me of that show. Have you seen that show? Me and Gus watched it, where it's in Japan, and it's these kids going to buy groceries for their
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's she's so young, just this little girl, and she just walks up, puts her hand on Mai's hand, and she just knows, and we were just oh my god, how sweet. And Gus said, from one Panchita to another, "I got you, girl." And we were just laughing so hard because Gus was "Did they even have a conversation?" And I was "No, she just knew." And he was "Yeah." She was from one Panchita to another, "I got you, girl." And we were laughing so hard. And then the next kid walks up, and we're freaking out, "Oh my god." And Gus is "It's a paunchy bucket line." Dude, it was so sweet. And this is really the moment where it's oh my gosh, Gamera is for the babies. Also, though, 2 things I have to say that have nothing to do with this beautiful, amazing moment is, one, Zetas has these kind of face flaps, they're just meat curtains hanging around his face for the first half of the movie, and then in the second half of the movie he just whap jeeper creepers these face flaps, and it is sick. It's so good. I really loved it. And second of all, and Gus pointed this out as well, I have to give him credit, because everyone's running, and Gamera and all the babies are they're passing off the stone, but in this passing off of the stone, you see they're running the opposite way of all of these people, but all of these people are running, and
yes,
and Gus is the Japanese are so respectful, they're not even running on the grass. Nobody is running on the grass. They are strictly only running in the streets. Even the babies, the babies running with the stone. It's so funny because there's just these big patches of grass, and no one is running through them. It's just so good. It was so good.
I just love the image of the little kid running in the opposite direction of everybody else,
it's
running towards the danger. It was so great.
So good. And the last one, hold on. Wait, before we move on.
Yeah.
The very last Panchita, who has the stone before she gives it to the Kazuki and the other friend, they've kind of grayed everything out. Everybody's running, and there's kind of this slow motion moment where everybody's running the opposite way of her, and she's wearing this bright yellow shirt. And everyone else is kind of there's just this gray kind of dusty, smoky tone because there's buildings falling and all of this crazy shit is happening. And so everything in the whole shot is gray except for this little girl who's running towards the danger with this heart and a bright yellow shirt. And the contrast in the it's a piece of art. It's something you could hang on the wall. It was so beautiful. That moment. It was just gorgeous. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Zeus, firmly having the upper hand in the battle, hurls Toto into a skyscraper, and he's just stuck there like Pooh Bear with his butt hanging out of the skyscraper. Kazuke holds up debris to help Toru get into the building. And Toru, after begging Toto not to die to save the day like his predecessor did, throws the red stone into Gamera's mouth during the battle. Gamera's power of jet-propelled flight manifests itself, and it defeats Zadus by firing a charged-up fireball attack down Zadus' throat.
We gotta talk about Toru, like, telling Gamera that he can't kill himself to protect them. He's like, you gotta live, you gotta survive. I have these mommy issues and these abandonment issues, and you cannot kill yourself and die, so I need you to figure it out, eat this stone, swallow it, take it, swallow it. Great. Now I need you to do the damn thing. Take care of business because you can never leave me. My mom died.
So after he beats him, he just kind of collapses on the ground. Yeah. It looks like he might be dead. And the kaiju escapes further government investigation with Totoro, Kazuki, and the other children's assistants. They all just basically stand in their way, and they're like, no, you can't take it.
Because the kids are protecting Gamera now.
Yeah. I mean, there's one dick that wants to do it, but everybody else seems to be kind of like, yeah, that's fine. No problem, kids. Watching his former pet fly off into the sky, Toru finally calls Toto by his true name and bids him farewell. Sayonara, Gamera.
Sayonara. And then, when he says that, because he won't, the whole movie, he's like, it's not Gamera. It's not. And then, like, him and his dad, him and his dad have some intense fucking moments and fights. Like, not fights, but just definitely moments where they're, like, screaming at each other and trying to understand each other. And just because, they both lost somebody. He lost his wife. He lost his mom. But the whole movie, he's like, no, he's not Gamera. He's Toto. And then when he says, sayonara, Gamera, and then just blackout, it was like, ugh, man, it really hit you. And then we get this little kind of montage of, like, baby Gamera walking through the city, doing baby Gamera things, and it's so fucking cute. So cute.
So, Honeybee.
Something that, about this movie that I loved. Do you remember in the beginning of Gamera, when there was, like, the one boy who had the pet, and it was his little pet turtle, and it was so sweet. And then it was, like, a big turtle, and it was Gamera. I kind of liked how they kept that vibe in this movie.
Yeah.
It was very nice to kind of, like, go back to that, especially because our last 3 movies were so hardcore, and they were, like, our last 3 Gamera movies, I mean, were just, like, so action-packed, and, and, like, there were kids, of course, but it was very different. One of the kids was even an asshole, remember? She was like, fuck Gamera killed my cat, and I was like, hey, fuck you, but anyways, but I mean, they were just so different, and so it was like, this...
I think it was maybe the second. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the first Gamera movie, but I think it was the second one.
Or because second was Legion.
Where the kid thinks... No, I'm talking about the first series.
Oh, series. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With the kid who's... I'm talking about the kid who thought his turtle did not turn into Gamera, but he thought it.
Right. But I loved that.
And that was I think the second one.
I love that they kind of... I felt like they kind of, it was like... Oh, let's, like, throw this, like, OG Easter egg in there. You guys remember this one? And it was just so nice.
Definitely on purpose.
Mm-hmm, I love that.
It was definitely on purpose.
I really love that. So, I mean, I just can't. I feel like the last set of movies were obviously just so fucking good. And if this movie had gone into a trilogy, I would think it would be kind of like the Mothra movies that we got that were very much children movies, where they were, like, really great, but they were definitely for kids. Whereas, like, the last trilogy that we watched, this last Gamera trilogy, was like, fuck yeah, action. Like, there were, like, kids and it was for kids, but also there was, like, so much other shit. So I don't know. I can't decide which one is better. Because, man, I really loved this one. But I feel like it's not hardcore enough to love it for being a kaiju movie. But I also feel like, fuck yes, it is, because it's fucking Gamera and he's adorable, and look at those eyes.
The funny thing about it is there's almost no mythology in this movie. No, in other ones there was, like, Gamera is a guardian of the earth, and people know things about him, or there's cave drawings or whatever. in this one, there's just none of that. We know nothing about where either of these kaiju came from or why, other than there was just an egg. It was just there. The jewels give him power, but we don't know why. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Normally, that might bother me, but it didn't bother me in this one.
Yeah, me either.
I liked
I
it.
loved it.
What are you going to rate Gamera the Brave?
Gamera the Brave is definitely 5 stars from me.
I don't remember what I've rated it in the past, but I'm going to give it 5 just for that sequence with the kids.
Ugh, so good.
The relay race
It's so good.
with the kids.
It's just, it's
yeah,
so pure.
It is.
It's just, it just hits you in that, like, space in your heart of, like, oh, pureness. It's gonna explode.
Well, there you go, folks. It's 5 stars all around for Gamera the Brave. It is streaming on Prime. Was it shown anywhere else?
I think it was showing a few free places like Tubi and that sort of thing, Pluto, but also free on Prime.
Yes, it is on Tubi. So if you're not paying for Prime, you can get it for free on Tubi. There you go, folks. Next week's movie is Kong: Return to the Jungle.
Oh, joy.
Jesus Christ. Let's see where that's playing, if God forbid you want to watch it.
Also on Prime.
Before you listen. It is also on Tubi
Yeah.
and Pluto and Prime and Freebie. So you have a selection of places to watch it. So thanks for joining us, folks. You can find links to all our things at mmftg.com. And if you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/mmftg and get exclusive episodes and ad-free episodes. And you can request movies for us to talk about. Until next week, I have been Precious D.
And I've been Honey Bee.
Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/mmftg.